Yo, what is up, guys? Brian here with Clips or Die, and Terance Mann has agreed to a contract extension with the LA Clippers. As you may or may not know, Terance Mann was on the final year of his current deal and was set to become a free agent at the end of this season. He was making roughly around $11 million this year, and the Clippers have been going back and forth, it sounds like, trying to agree on a contract extension with him within like the last year or so. And Lawrence Frank himself even mentioned that they had wanted to work out a deal with him, wanted to keep him, but of course they understood that it was a business thing, and so they were trying to respect that as well. So Terance Mann is here to stay for the long haul. He's signed through the 27-28 season with his new contract extension. So what is his contract extension, you might ask? Well, on top of the $11 million that he's going to be making this year, starting next season, he's going to be making $47 million over the next 3 years. So that breaks down to roughly a little bit less than $16 million a year over the next 3 years after this current season. So the Clippers have him locked in until the 27-28 season. Terance Mann is 27 years old. So you think about 4 years from now, he'll be around 31, 32, which I think is still pretty young. Essentially, we're getting him in his prime. The cool thing about Terance Mann is that he is homegrown. So the Clippers did draft him with the 48th pick back in 2019. So Terance Mann has been with the team since then, which I think is pretty cool. But I have been seeing, some mixed emotions from fans regarding this. I know that Terance Mann is a fan favorite, but a lot of people are saying that this is an overpay. Not just Clipper fans, but a lot of people in general are saying that they feel like this is an overpay, which, I mean, I guess I can kind of see their sentiment, but in my opinion, I don't really think that this is an overpay. I think that this is a fair deal. As you may or may not know, Zubac just recently signed an extension where he'll be making about $19 million a year. So Terance Mann is going to be making a little bit less. So I think some of the sentiment around Terance Mann being, this being an overpay is because Terance Mann is seen as mainly a defender. And then most people, I guess, would argue that that's pretty much all he does. Let's talk a little bit about his stats and let's kind of go from there. So Terance Mann last season averaged 25 minutes per game, where he averaged 8.8 points per game and 3.4 rebounds per game, 1.6 assists, 0.6 steals, and 0.2 blocks. So he did shoot at 34%, 34.8, I guess, percent from the 3-point line at a little bit under 3 attempts per game. It looks like his career high was 41% from 3, but that was only at like 1.4 attempts per game. So overall, over the course of his career, Terance Mann is about a 37% 3-point shooter, which I think is pretty fair. I think the main thing, or at least I kind of understand where people say that people overvalue him. I don't feel like he's overvalued, but where I kind of understand by that is that I think that their main complaint is that he's mainly defensive, right? And that's pretty much all he does. But in my opinion, I think that Terance Mann is a good 3-point shooter. The main problem with him is that he doesn't take enough attempts, right? So if you're only taking like less than 3 attempts, that's going to have to go up, especially with Paul George no longer being on the team. Terance Mann is definitely going to have to start taking more threes, especially now that he's going to be getting paid more. We need him to take more threes, not be so hesitant to do so. And I think a lot of it is, I don't think it's so much a confidence thing. I just think that sometimes he tries to be a little bit too selfless and not so selfish. So I think Terance needs to be a little bit more selfish when it comes to shooting the 3. And I think if he does so, I think that will really overall help out the team. Another thing that I think Terance Mann is really good at is he's really good at getting to the basket and scoring at the rim. So that's just one thing that I think a lot of people don't really see. Overall, I think that Terance Mann has the potential to really expand in his role. I can see one of the complaints that people say is, well, he's already 27. He's not going to, have a breakout year or anything like that, which I understand. I don't think that the expectation is that Terance Mann will have a breakout year, but I do think a couple of things. One is that with Paul George being absent now, Terance Mann has some room to be able to step up and be a little bit more offensive than he was in previous seasons. Another thing too is that now that Terance Mann is signed to this deal, I would hope that means that, you know, he's pretty much the set starter. Like, you're a set starter, which I know like Ty Lue kind of mentioned at the press conference earlier this week that it's going to be a competition for the starting spots. But essentially, Terance Mann was a starter last year, so I think as long as he does good at training camp, he should earn that starting spot. I think one of the problems with Terance Mann within, you know, since he's been with the Clippers and since he's actually been called up to the team was that he has played so many different roles. He's played so many different positions, and I think that's been a problem as far as helping his growth. And what I mean by that is when you're constantly, like, 1 week you're playing this position and then, you know, a few months down the line you're playing this position. Terance Mann has dealt a lot with versatility in that regards. So I think that now that we have, you know, James Harden, we have Kawhi Leonard, we have Zoo, and then essentially you're just going to be looking for the other two starting spots. Terance Mann, just keep him at shooting guard, and, you know, you play Derrick Jones Jr. At the 3. I think that consistency will help him be a little bit more consistent and more comfortable in his role. So I really do think that Terance Mann will play a little bit better this season. I hope his minutes go up and that he's closer to 30 as well. But overall, I think that, you know, now that he got his bag, I'm thinking too that the front office probably did have conversations as, you know, as far as that, you know, we'll pay you, but we do expect you to, you know, perform a little bit higher, take a little bit more shots, be a little bit more aggressive. And I'm really, really hoping that we do see that. But overall, I'm happy. I'm a big Terance Mann fan. I mean, he's a really big advocate for the team. You see him in our commercials all the time. You see him promoting the wall. It seems like he's, you know, happy to be a Clipper. And overall, I'm really happy that they re-signed him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know if you don't agree with that and why you think it's an overpay, if it is an overpay in your opinion. But to me, it's just nice to actually have some homegrown talent. And it's pretty cool that, you know, the two players that we do have signed through 27-28 are Zubac and Terance Mann, who are like the longest tenured Clippers players. So in my opinion, that's pretty cool. And I do think that Terance Mann will have a little bit of a jump this season. And I think that he will play out up to his contract. And in reality too, you got to think, I mean, the cap's going to go up every year. So, you know, even though you think like, oh, 16 million, that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but at least you locked him in now. And so as the cap continues to go up, you're going to have this player that, you know, is going to be a very valuable asset. You know, they might be able to use in trades and whatnot, which that was something else that I had seen circulating online, was people were saying that in his contract, there was nothing that said that he couldn't be traded. I'll try to see if I can find that and post it up here. Which basically people were indicating that, oh, well, they signed Terance Mann to an extension. That way they could include him in a trade, I guess. I mean, yeah, if he's making more money, then, I mean, you could include him in a trade, and I could see how that would be a valuable contract. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of people want Terance, and I'm just happy that we were able to lock him in. I think that he's a great for this team. And I just think that he seems like a great person, and I'm happy to have him on the team for sure. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys like this video, go ahead and comment down below what your guys' thoughts were. Please subscribe, like the video to stay tuned for future Clippers content. Media Day is next week on Monday, or this coming week on Monday already. And then we have training camp and the season coming up later this year. So, I mean, stay tuned. I'm going to be making a lot of Clipper content. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.